Hi everyone, it's Miguel, aka Mighty Migz, or you can call me Coach Migz, and thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of 2024 in regards to this Mighty Migz lifestyle channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please press the like and subscribe buttons below because it's actually gestures like that. Not only do I appreciate myself, but it's also an encouragement for me to keep making videos like this in the near and distant future. It's been a while since I've made a video out of this channel, but you know what? Better late than never. And thank you for tuning in once again. Today I'm going to talk about being the product of your own environment. Okay, so if you are in a bad environment, whether it's actually at home or at work or like socializing with friends and family or something like that, but if the environment's pretty bad, then it's going to be pretty toxic towards you and your mentality. Okay, but if it's the other way around, where you've got people who are like-minded, who are encouraging and supportive, or even just as ambitious as you are, it's only going to get better for your mindset. Okay, so let me start with the negatives. Okay, because for some reason the bad news or the negative stuff actually appeals more to the masses. Okay, so so if you're in an environment, whether it's work or at home, it's going to affect your mental health. Okay, because the two places that are supposed to be the safest for you to be around is number one is your home because you're going to be there most of the time, and number two is your workplace. Okay, so let me start an example about like back in the day when I used to work at this IT company, and I was working in the service warehouse department, and the surrounding departments, not just service warehouse, but warehouse and service, most people were just pretty toxic, and people were miserable, and people didn't want to help each other. Everyone was just in it for themselves, and yeah, it just all stems from that. And I didn't want to go to work, and I had to wake up just thinking, "Oh crap! What am I doing this for? Am I going to be stuck in this dead end job forever or not?" Okay, so it was actually one of those things where it affected my self esteem as well because of the toxic environment. Okay, and like I said before, even the branch manager back then, he was a pretty toxic guy as well. He just didn't like people. He wasn't pleasant to talk to, and whenever he was around, he was just like one of those guys who you didn't want to be around, because he can be coming across as condescending, not just by his words, but more about his actions and the way he, talks to you, or just like the way he's just around. It's as if you're not worthy to talk to him. Anyway, yeah. And another toxic environment experience for me was back then. I was living in a place out in the Western Sydney, and I wouldn't say most, but actually there's a couple of people who were toxic, and one of them ended up being the biggest bully of my life. Okay, so what I mean by that, he was just very manipulative, very controlling, and it was his way or the highway. And only because he thought that he was on the lease of the house, he could actually tell everybody else what to do, except for the other guy who's on the lease as well. Okay, so both places were pretty toxic to me. And looking back now, I can see why I had low self esteem, why I didn't have much confidence talking to people in general, let alone girls in my early 20s. Okay. So if you realize yourself being in this situation where you're in a toxic environment, you can always try to make it even better. Okay. But there's only so much you can do. Don't stress yourself out too much about it. But the best thing you can do, if that's the case, if you can't actually change the environment, you can just find a way to move on and to greener pastures for yourself. Okay, cool. But it is what it is, yeah? So if you are the product of your environment in a toxic environment, then you're going to be subconsciously toxic, or even some cases, pretty intentionally toxic. Okay, but the good thing is now I'm in a place where, not only I'm living in a place here in the North Shore of Sydney where I'm just feeling like a few of my housemates are okay, they're not troublemakers, nothing like that. I'm very blessed to have that, and I appreciate that, because like I said before, your home and your workplace are the two places you should be feeling safest at most. Okay, and I work at an awesome gym here in the North Shore where I feel safe, and I've been here for a little while. I've been working at the same gym for almost 5.5 years now, and I'm very blessed that of course, like my business in the gym has had its ups and downs. I'm still grateful, because I'm in a good place. where I can sharpen up my mind. And now I've got people who I'm not only training, but I can lecture and to helping them um, become a better version of themselves through their lifestyle. And it starts with psychology anyway, because in most cases, your mind controls your body. Okay, so if you are in a toxic environment, find a way to make it better, or worst comes to worst, find a way to get out and find greener pastures for yourself. Yeah, don't do this to yourself. Do not torture yourself, because at the end of the day, yeah, only you can change yourself. Don't try to change other people. You can only try to change the environment to a certain extent, but do what you feel is actually right for yourself. Okay, and remember your purposes, everybody. Yeah. So yeah, just always remember that it could always be worse, but things can always, or usually at least, can always get better. Okay, so just find greener pastures for yourself if you're finding yourself in that toxic type of environment. Okay, but that's pretty much it for this video. And if this has helped you out a little bit more, feel free to share this video to everybody else who you may think will benefit from. And because at the end of the day, it's videos like this that I do for people. Okay, it doesn't matter whether I get success out of it or not, because this is just a self-help video that should help you sharpen your mind. Anyway, until the next episode, and thank you for tuning in. This is Miguel, aka Mighty Migz, or you can call me Coach Migz. Thanks again for tuning in and listening. Adios.